Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my booktube channel, Loc'D, and today we're going to do the Black History Month tag. This tag was originated by Books by Layness. I'll put the original tag in the description box below, and you can find many other links in the description box below as well. So I'm sorry for looking a mess. I was just reading and I was like, you know what? Let me just go and pretend that, I'm put together and do my YouTube video today about the Black History Month tag. I was tagged in this tag by Adri from Perpetual Pages and also Ashley from Bookish Realm. I think a couple other people tagged me in this. I'm trying to be better by responding to the tags that I get tagged in. Honestly, I just keep forgetting about it, and I'm so meticulous about my schedule and things that I put out or want to put out every month, and sometimes I don't have any ideas and I just get really caught up in it and I forget to add the tags. So I'm going to try to be better on that because I know I've been called out about not doing the tags, and I just need to be better about that. So I'm ready to do these tags. I did not read the questions before. I'm just trying to make it as natural as possible, aka lazy is what that is. So I'm just trying to, go with the flow and see what happens. So the first question: what is a book everyone should be reading during Black History Month? Give one fiction and one nonfiction title. So if we're going to go with nonfiction, I would say Becoming by Michelle Obama. It's a memoir about Michelle Obama and her life and everything that she's went through. Another nonfiction I would say is my favorite book by Maya Angelou, which is Mom, Me, and Mom. I absolutely adored that book. Another nonfiction I would say is The Source of Self-Regard. Shout out to Chronicles of Noria for putting that book in my atmosphere. And that book was written by Toni Morrison, or collected by Toni Morrison. So I think that is a great book to return to as well. And I'll give you a fourth one. I'm over here just thinking. How to Be Anti-Racist by Ibram X Kendi, for sure. Now we're gonna go over fiction because clearly I missed where it says give one. Here we are, Fiction, I would say anything by N.K. Jemisin. Anything. I would also say Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. Ray Barrier by Jordan E. Fueco. I would say Devil in a Blue Dress by Walter Mosley. I would say The Lesson by Cadwell Turnbull. I would say The Deep by River Solomon and the other authors who were a part of that project as well. There's just so many great fiction books out there. I also really loved Freshwater by Akwaeke Emezi. I love that book. There's so many good books out there. Go ahead and live your best. Also, I want to add the Patrisse series by Octavia E. Butler, only because it is becoming my favorite series I've ever read. And I have been hardcore and attached to the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. And the Patrisse series is really coming for it. It's coming for it in different ways. I love them both in different ways, but those two are becoming my favorite series of all time. There's another series that's also one of my favorites, but right now we're talking about Black people, so we're going to keep it Black. Number 2. Which Black booktuber would you recommend watching and why? I would recommend watching, I'm just going to be shouting out my friends, Deidre from Shade Tree Reads. I think Deidre has such a calming voice, and Deidre just be speaking her mind in a way that everyone should learn from. She just be saying what she says and she means it, and there's not a lot of filtering there. And it's something I try to be mindful of, because sometimes I get in the head space of, oh, we gotta be nice to the white people, and Deidre just be like, and it's this and that on that. And I really enjoy that about her, and how she is just unapologetically herself. In that same vein, I will lend everything else I just said to Ashley from Bookish Realm. Just be speaking their piece. Ashley's always giving very in-depth and thoughtful reviews, especially on the books she liked, the books that she didn't like, the books that were somewhere in between. And I feel like every time Ashley does a sprint, you learn something. Even when I just text her or something, I just learned something. When she watched my video, she adds to it, and I'm just like, dang, there's just so much about the literary world that I don't know about. And it's really great to come on Booktube and find other booktubers who just know more than you in certain areas, and you're learning from them and they're learning from you. It's that collaborative piece that I always love. So those are two of the booktubers. In addition, I am really trying to get into science fiction. It's becoming apparent that I am really starting to like science fiction, particularly Black science fiction. So my go-to people for that is Chloe and Njeri. Chloe has a booktube page called Thistle in Verse, and Njeri has a booktube page called Onyx Pages. And they just give such good reviews about books that I never in my life heard of, and I just be here collecting and trying to figure things out. So that is so dope. Also, Brit, I love her channel as well, because I think that Brit has a very, in a way, artistic way of reviewing her books. And when she reviews or talk about books, it's more of talking about the themes of the books, how the books made her feel versus the plot of the books. I struggle with reviews because I always accidentally give out the plot, or there's just, I'm working on that. I'm definitely working on that, and I'm naming all these people because these are things I think they do well that I'm trying to do well as well, and Brit is one of those people. There are so many Black booktubers out there, y'all, who is really doing good work. We got Shane is doing good work. I'm like sitting here and trying to think of all the people, and there's so many names coming in my mind. But there are so many great booktubers out there, and I'm going to try to add more in my description box so I can add them into this tag. Black booktubers from the UK who is doing work, doing really good work on their booktube channels. There are Black booktubers around the diaspora, on the continent. There's so many dope booktubers, and I think, you know, we need to step outside of the American lens of booktube, and there are so many dope ones out there. Number 3, what is your favorite book written by a Black author from an African country? Ooh, that is a hard one. So this book has becoming a favorite. I'm just going to show you what it looks like up close. And this book is really pulling me in to the story, and I just don't even know how to talk about this book yet, and I've only read like a quarter of it, and it's quickly becoming one of my favorites, and I'm trying to finish this book as soon as possible. And you can see it's not even that big, but I have been making TBRs and, you know, working on other projects that I haven't had time to add this book, and I low-key want to make this a reading for my Patreons. And this book is just really pulling me through, and the author is from Kenya, I believe. And yes, he's from Kenya. He's actually like a world-renowned author in Kenya. And that's all I'm going to say about this. And then I'm going to move on to the next question. What is your favorite Black classic? So I will have to say this. It wasn't until recently I realized that we had Black classics. And that has a lot to do with access and literacy and a bunch of other stuff that we know. I've always assumed classics to be synonymous with whiteness, because I just never made that connection. Because if you're used to people talking about classics in a Western white format or narrative, why would you see yourself in that? I remember in 2018, I dedicated a large part of that year of reading classics. And every time I would ask people for recommendations, so many people, black people, white people, Asian people, so many people, of what classic that they think that I should read. And it was always Old White Man or Jane Austen. So that's pretty much what I was exposed to. I didn't even know black classics existed. And recently I read a black classic called Passing by Nella Larson. And that book just really transformed me, and it also caused me to have a conversation with my grandma. That video will be up soon. So because of Passing, I am now diving into other black classics, and thank God we have the Artisan Geek, you know, Seji on YouTube, and that is so helpful. And she has a lot of recommendations, and she reads a lot of classics around the world. So that's been really helpful to help me read or seek out other black classics. Number 5, which movie / book to movie adaptation documentary would you recommend watching during Black History Month? It's not so much of an adaptation. So there is a book called The New Jim Crow, and it was written by Michelle Alexander, I believe. There's a Netflix series or documentary called 13th, and I think that would be really interesting for anyone to read, and not even just in Black History Month, anytime, so you can understand incarceration in the US. It's very important that you read that book and also watch that documentary, because I believe the author is in that documentary, and I'm not saying that because The New Jim Crow that she wrote is the only reason why 13 the documentary exists, but I found it to be very hand in hand. Number 6, what's on your TBR for Black History Month? The question is, what is not? I have so many books on my TBR for Black History Month, and I know we're like heading to the end, and it's just so much. Like right now, I think I have like 35 books I'm reading in total, and 35, all of them are black authors, but there are so many books that I need to finish. So I'll tell you some of the books that I'm trying to finish that is on my TBR specifically for Black History Month. So the first one is called Wife of Gods by Kiwi Corti. And another one I want to get to, but it's kind of like a bonus. If I have time, I'll get to it this month. If I don't, next month for sure. Which is Remote Control by Nnedi Okorafor, or Dr. Nnedi Okorafor. And Falling in Love with Hominids is also a book that I want to finish before February is over. Minions by L.A. Banks is another book I want to finish before February is over. The Inexplicable Universe by Neil deGrasse Tyson is also a book I want to finish. And lastly, but never least, is Pet by Okeke Emezi. And currently, as we speak, as I film, I am very shortly away, like 96% done, on finishing Trouble the Saints by Leah Don Johnson, which is chef kiss. And number 7, which new releases by black writers are you looking forward to the most this year? I'm looking for new releases that were written by who are in the mystery and thriller realm. So I have 2 books that I'm going to show you that I'm really looking forward to, and they didn't come out this year, but I'm so looking forward to reading them before I get into new releases that are happening this year. So I found this author on TikTok actually, and she was messaging me and telling me that she's a black woman who writes horror, and I was like, what? I've been specifically looking for black women who write horror, right? So it was very important to me that I get her books. And at the time, I think I must forgot about it or something happened, and then I saw her TikTok again, and then it reminded me, and I went and got her book. So she has this series called The Water Tales, and I believe this is book 1. This is To the Moon and Back by Jean Nicole Rivers. And then the second book is Still Blackwater Tales, Unwanted by Jean Nicole Rivers. And I'm excited to really get into both of these books and see what's going on. I haven't heard much about these books, and I don't know anybody else who are reading these books, but if you want to read these books with me as like a buddy read situation, let your girl know. But I'm really excited. She sells both of her books on Amazon, and I got them pretty quickly, and I just cannot wait to read the book. I can see that the quality on both of these books are different. Like, this is giving you glossy and this is giving you like paper matte. But hey, I don't care. I'm still reading them, supporting sis, and I'm really excited to get into these books. Also, as a bonus of this video, I want to let you know, those of you who are following in my pop word of the month, and it's a series I'm doing on my channel every other month. So I already did wife for January. February is when I did the wrap up for January, and then March I will introduce a new word. The new word is black for March. So just saying. I also have some books as well that I'll be talking about in addition. So be on the lookout for when that video will come out. And I'm just really happy that y'all came and y'all hung out with me. And you know, we can go ahead and have a little fun and talk about Black History Month. I just also want to remind y'all that, you know, black people are just black, you know, every day, 365, 7 days a week. And it's not just a month. So read black when you can, all the time, and live your best life, and really go out there and explore those authors who are not so big and so known. Like, supporting black authors and writers doesn't always mean supporting who are visibly accessible to you in that way. And just try to branch out and do some research and see who's out there and things like that. And I'm really out here trying to plug. Jean. That's really what I'm doing. So definitely get into these two, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And thank you again for hanging out with me as I talked about the Black History Month tag. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. I ask that you put a black emoji in the comment section below, and I'll see you later. Bye!